Okay.
Here we are. Here we are. Let's see if we are live today. I'm going to do our little countdown. Yay! We are here. Thank you all so much for coming back live with us. Hello, hello. This is Jen with Jen's Gen Art. And out over there in the back corner hiding is my husband, Michael, who is here to help me with the comments and give us some inspiration and cheer us on as we work on our acrylic 10-day challenge today. So come on in. We'd love to tell you hello, give you a shout out, and say hi to those who are here. Miss Curry is here again, and Miss April is here.
And
Cool
Sandy,
countdown.
Sandy and Bev and Nancy and Charlie.
Hello, Miss Sandy.
And Connie and April and Pam.
Hello, Miss Nancy. And tell us where you're watching from and tell us what's going on with the weather. You know, we always like to talk about the weather. At least we do. I don't know. It's a big thing with us. What's that?
You're asking questions.
Oh, it is raining here today, and it has been raining like really, really hard. So we are getting some nice floody type weather out here in central Louisiana. Come on in, everybody. Say hello when you get here. It's drizzly in Mississippi, Nancy says. Missouri is rather cool. Southern Oregon, it's supposed to snow tomorrow. That's awesome. Good for y'all. So, we even have, this one says South Carolina is 57 degrees. She knows exactly what the temperature is, Michael. You go, girl. I love it. Hey, Miss Kay, you are never behind, okay? Remember, you have until the end of February to watch this. And I'm going to take I'm going to take Michael out of the screen here because I don't know what he's doing.
That's why you take me out of the screen? You don't know what I'm doing?
Yeah, well, it's a little distracting.
Part of that woke crowd.
I'm just joking. All right, so what are we talking about today? Let's make sure we are on schedule for everything that we have going on. Today is day 3. We are going to dig into composition today. So what our goal is today, I'm going to show you what I have on my palette right here. And we are going to, first, we are going to give some shout outs. And then I just wanted to, if you wanted to have some materials ready in just a little bit, we are going to be painting. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give a shout out. And then after the shout out, I'm going to give a little lesson on composition. And then we're going to paint. And so for your painting, I'm going to be using an 8x8. There is no template and there is no reference photo today. No template and no reference photo. And you'll understand why when we're done with our video on composition. Okay, so let's give some shout outs today on everybody that is participating. And I want to show you a couple of things that I am loving about the Facebook group. We had a couple of people, well, you know, you're always going to find some people who are really, really hard on themselves, okay? You raise your hand. Who's really hard on yourself? I am always really hard on myself. But I want to show you what kind of support our people have when someone is really hard on themselves, okay? there are over 57 comments on this post. Someone said, I hate my work. Okay, so, but look at this. People said, even if you don't like it, did you learn anything? I love it. I think it looks wonderful. I love the way your flowers came out. Just so striking. Your flowers are lovely. Sorry, I don't see the same things that you do because I think your picture is lovely. Look at all of that positivity that y'all are just creating here in the Facebook group. Looks wonderful. Too hard on yourself. Would you say that to any of us or our paintings? Give yourself some grace. So, you know, people are just so supportive in the group. And I want to thank y'all all so much for being so supportive. And I want to just give some shout outs again for some of y'all. Miss Donna, look at her. She worked on her day one homework and it is just beautiful. Miss Jill, she worked on day 2 and made some beautiful kind of like orangey red flowers. Let's see, here's another day 2 from Miss Jean or Miss Jean. Y'all are just, I just had to let like 25 posts in because there's so many of y'all that are being like so active in here and I am loving it. Day 2, I enjoyed the class, but I had a hard time deciding when it was done. That is so common, Miss Karen. That is just so common. And that's something that gets easier the more that you paint. Miss Geo, Miss Tremblay, painting practice, love the colors. Thank you, Jen and Michael, for your time and dedication. You are so welcome. We love doing this kind of stuff. It really means a lot to us to be able to provide something like this for y'all. Look at Miss Pauletta. Y'all, I love all of the interaction and all of the work that you are all sharing in here. And I want to share something else with y'all about this Facebook group, okay? Now, you know that you have access to this. I'm going to show my face again. You know that you have access to this until the end of February, and then everything's going to be taken down. But I want you to know that I am going to give away $100 Blick gift card to my, I'm going to show y'all what I can see in the Facebook group, all right, to my most active Facebook group member. So here is the running right now, okay? Every 28 days, or let me just say it this way. This is the list. I just pulled this up. It says last updated on February 1st. And at the top, it says people who are most active in the community. Okay, so this is the group right now of the most active people in the Facebook group. Okay, these are the most active. So we have a leader. Miss Anne Marie Wilkins is our leader. And these little, you see the 3 and the 259 and the 376. What those are is like likes, then the little, y'all know what it is, the comments, and then 3 is what they posted. Okay, so she posted 3 posts. She made 259 comments and 376 likes. Okay, and look, Miss Pat is right behind her. Then Miss Ellen, you're running, and then Michael, you're right there as well. Miss Linda and Pam and Connie and Curry and Donna and Linda Sue Batten, y'all are all in the run-ins for $100 gift card to Blick.com. So what this does is I am the only one who can see this information. Facebook sends it to me because I'm an administrator to the group. And so it updates it and it gives me a list of the last 28 days of activity in the group. Okay. So on February 29th, which is going to be over the next 27 days, you need to be active in that Facebook group and the person who's at the top, because it can change every day. Okay.
So Anne Marie hasn't won yet.
No, she's just
in the lead.
Yeah, but it gives me the results from the last 28 days. So it doesn't matter what you did 28 days before. I'm going to be looking at it from February 2nd to February 29th, that 28-day period. Okay. So it basically started yesterday and it's going to continue on all the way to the 29th. And I am going to give a $100 gift card to the person who is the most active and is at the top of that top contributor list. Okay, so let the posts and the comments start, and y'all have fun. Okay, y'all have fun. Also, you do have an opportunity to earn gift cards and gifts if you're also playing the bingo card. If you're playing the bingo card, you are after day 3 or day 4, probably after day 4. We're going to start having a lot of people that are going to have their bingo card ready, because I started playing it and I started looking at, if you get 5 in a row, which 5 in a row, it looks like this one's going to be the first one, because day 3 is happening today and then day 4 happens tomorrow. And then there's a couple others that you have to wait until like day 4 or day 5 before you can actually get 5 in a row.
So Facebook group is where they have to.
Facebook group, that Acrylic 101 Facebook group, that is where that information is coming from. The group that I just showed y'all on the iPad, where y'all are posting your paintings. Okay, so that is a little competition going on. Also, the bingo card, once you get that filled out after day 4, on day 5 through the rest, we're going to have gift cards and other prizes that we're going to be giving away. So I want to hold you accountable. Because we have to hold each other accountable some kind of way, right? So I'm super excited about that, and I hope you are too, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so today is all about composition, and I have an actual video that I'm going to share with you on a lesson that I created on composition, and I'm going to show the video. It's about 12 minutes, and then I'm going to come back on, and we are going to we're going to talk a little bit more about composition. I'm going to answer questions, and we're going to paint. So let me get that video up. Hopefully I can get it to work the way I want. I'm going to remove this. And composition is really, really important in photography and in artwork. Okay, so basically it helps make your painting like more harmonious, more pleasing to the eye. And I'm going to show you some examples of some things that you're going to understand. When I show you those examples, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I see it. Okay. So the main thing I'm going to talk about is the rule of thirds. I am going to draw.
I remember this, and this is a great lesson.
Yeah. I'm going to draw. I'm going to write up here the rule of thirds. Okay, I'm going to draw just a basic, kind of like a rectangle or a square. Okay, and I'm going to break this. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to take my ruler out and measure it. But if I were working on a really big canvas, I would actually take a ruler out and measure it. But I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to break this up into thirds. And then I'm also going to break it up into thirds this way as well. Okay, and how many of you have heard of the rule of thirds before? Maybe in school, maybe in your art class, or maybe you took a photography class, or maybe you worked on the school newspaper and you had to take pictures for the newspaper or something.
I don't see any hands raised. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Dee says yes. Cindy says yes for me before. Yes. But so if you've been a member of my group, you've heard of the rule of thirds. We use it a lot in our paintings. The golden section is another one. Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you can also call it the golden section is what you're saying. Yes. Okay, good. All right, so good. So I'm going to just explain this really briefly. For those of you who have heard, just sit back and hear it again. And if you have some input that you'd like to give, I'm more than happy to take the input. So there's a few things that are really important in the composition of your piece when you are trying to design or trying to find a reference photo that would work well. Or maybe we're going to talk about that some more. Even if the photograph is not how you want it, you can kind of manipulate the photograph to look more like what you want it to be for the composition to be better. And so these are the things we look at. We look at, I'm going to start just by drawing these lines out right here. We look at the horizon, like let's say you're working on a landscape, okay? We look at the horizon, and if you were, I'm going to try to do this the best I can. If, you know, when you first start learning to draw as a child and all that kind of stuff, most people just put their horizon like right in the middle, and then they draw the house right in the middle, and then they have like a tree right here or something like that, okay? And so that is not the most pleasing way to present a painting or a drawing or take a photograph, because it's not the most harmonious or beautiful way to have a person view the subject. Okay, it's just something about the eyes. I don't know the whole, you know, psychology behind it or the brain work behind it, but the rule is that you want to put your horizon either a third of the way up or a third of the way down. Okay, so you might, maybe you're working on maybe a sunrise or a sunset, okay? And so if you, maybe one way you want to do it is you're going to put the sun like back here. Well, let me go even further. Not only am I going to have, maybe this is like an ocean, okay? And this is the edge of the water, okay? So this is the edge of the water right here. And then maybe this is, maybe you're on the beach and there's an umbrella or something like that. So the horizon of the water line is not directly in the middle of your painting, okay? It could either be a third of the way up or a third of the way down. That's much better. It's much more pleasing to the eye. Also, not only that, but another component of this rule of thirds is the intersection of these thirds, okay? Right here where these dots are, okay? Those are the best positions for you to put the subject matter that you are working on. Okay, those are the best positions for you to put the subject matter. So let's say you're doing, which we're doing in this 101, let's say you're working on a barn painting in a landscape field or something. You know, it's like a landscape with a barn. Okay, so I want to show you something, and I'm going to show you some examples of good composition. Okay, some examples of good composition. And here is probably one of my favorites right here. Okay, not only is blue my favorite color, but the whole Montana feel about it is just absolutely gorgeous. So this is an example I just pulled off of the internet. I don't know who painted it. It is not my painting. Okay, but I just pulled the painting off of the internet to show you how this painting really works very well and is very pleasing to the eye, because look at the placement of the barn. Look where the rule of thirds is. Look at the placement of the horizon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look at where, well, your horizon is the separation between the ground and the sky. Huh. So see how much, how it just works. It just works really, really good. Does everybody see that? Okay, here's another example here. Now, this is not a painting. This is just a photograph. But here's another one that, again, uses those rule of thirds. Look where the sun is and look where the horizon is. Now, they used a different intersection, of course. And not only did they focus where they wanted the sun to be in the photograph, but they also had the opportunity to use another intersection with that beautiful tree to the right. So it makes for a beautiful, beautiful photo.
Wow.
And while I take a sip of my coffee. Okay, here's one that I really like because we're all about country atmospheres and all that kind of stuff. I really like this one, even though there's no big major subject. Well, I guess you could say that tree to the top right is a major subject. But I see, where do your eyes go when you look at this photo? Michael, I think you can answer this because you're always good at this.
What?
Where do your eyes go when you look at this photo?
Oh, I don't know. At first it's the tree, then it's the mountains, and then it's the sky on the left. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, that means the teacher said your answer was wrong. And
all right. Okay, so Rhoda says to the end of the track. All right. Somebody else says the sky. Monica says up the road. All right. Paula says into the trees. My eyes go to the trail. Okay. So your eyes pretty much, wherever your eyes end up going, and the part that you see when you first look at this, that's where you want the rule of thirds to be. And me personally, when I look at this photo, I'm looking at the end of the road where I can't see anymore, because that's what makes me that's what makes me feel good about this photo is, oh, I wonder where that road is going. You know? So, but the tree is beautiful as well. So
if you'd have given me some time, I would have examined the photo.
Okay. So Michael,
give me another chance.
Here's another chance. Look at this photo here. Where do your eyes first go when you start observing this photo?
The very background woods.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because I would set up around where that creek is.
Oh, he's talking about he's going hunting for the deer.
Yeah. But well, you know me. I love photos that allow me to go someplace. Mm-hmm. And so I try to look at where I could go.
Mm-hmm. So again, most of us, our eyes are probably going to that house or that church, whatever it is. I'm not sure if it's a chapel or a house. I think it's a house. But isn't it a beautiful photo? It's just absolutely gorgeous. The house is placed in an area that is in one of those intersection points. So our main subject ends up being in one of those intersection points. And not only that, you can see, this one doesn't have a horizon that goes straight horizontally. But look at that tree that's hanging over and just makes that, isn't it gorgeous? It just really works well. So if you, if you're ever looking at artwork in a gallery or anything like that, maybe you can take a moment now, if you've never understood that or looked at that before, and you can really, really spend some time appreciating those types of photographs or paintings that actually have that type of feel. Okay. Great question. Who asked that?
Patricia.
Okay. So if you were painting, this would be my suggestion. And this is what you're going to see most of the time. You're going to see this. You're going to see a tabletop, and then you're going to see a vase, and then you're going to see the flowers, okay, like this, all right? This is how not to do it, because my tabletop is right in the middle. Okay, it kind of looks like a cupcake. I didn't mean for it to look like a cupcake, but so that's what we would not want to do. Something that you would do would be, all right, my tabletop is going to be about a third of the way down, and then my vase is going to be maybe over here on the side. Okay, I'm just sketching this really fast. And then your flowers, like I think I even did one like this in our tribe before. I wanted to make sure that that's one of my thirds right there. So I put my vase over here. But what I wanted to make sure I did was I had a really big, vibrant flower right here, because that's going to pull my eyes over to that. And then I'm going to have all my other flowers in here like that. So there's my tabletop right there. And then there's the rest. Does that make sense?
That's it does to me.
A quick sketch like that. Okay. But yeah, good example of a bowl full of cupcakes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, great info. Thank you, Sammy. I'm glad you like that. So that is something that, you know, if you're trying to design something, I'm going to show.
You just said no.
All right, we are back. That was our little lesson on composition. And I'm going to take some questions, and I'm also going to show you a few of my personal paintings that we paint in our membership, where we really do focus on composition. And I'm just going to show you a few of them that we have right here.
Check your questions out too.
Okay. All right. Great lesson. Thank you. Thank you. This is one where you can see the composition with the thirds. You know, this is a Christmas lantern that we just painted in our membership. And I moved, you see how like the snow line is on the bottom third. The lantern is actually off to the thirds as well. The really bright light is right there, right at the thirds. And then the whole vertical, the vertical here is also in the thirds. So you can see how it kind of uses this area right here, right? Okay, so that's one that we just recently painted in my membership. Do you see any questions, Michael?
Yes, Carrie says, talk about the flower picture you have there that we will be doing, please.
We will. We're actually going to design this together. I'm going to take you through the whole thought process that I created for this design. It's going to include a lesson on the designing of it with the composition, the colors that I chose to use, and the shadows and the shading, because we're also going to do a lesson tomorrow on shading. So we're going to talk about all of that together when we start this painting. We will actually talk about that. So that's a great question. I love that. So here's another one that we just finished painting in the membership as well. It's a beautiful lighthouse, and you can see, even though maybe the horizon is kind of in the middle of, because look, you don't have to follow the composition rule, the rule of thirds, every single painting that you paint, because you don't always do that. Like here's one right here. You can see in my membership, we painted a rose. Well, I didn't really use the rule of composition that much on this one, but it's still a beautiful painting. So it's not something that you have to use all the time. It's just one of those rules. Again, you know, there's a lot of different components of artwork. And I did a little bit of research on who decided that that's the right way. You know, who decided? Well, there's psychologists out there that have been doing studies for years and years, and they have been studying when people view certain artwork, how their brain, like they hook them up to machines and all, and they study how their brain reacts when they look at certain visual art. Okay, and they have done all of this research over the years. And this is me talking without an art degree. So I'm just, you know, after doing my research and learning, which I love to learn, over the years, they have realized that those are the most pleasing ways to view visual artwork. okay, is having, you know, those kind of compositions, okay? So anyway, here you can see that the lighthouse, this is like the vertical third. You can see that. And also you can see another vertical third here with the sun. And then if you had the thirds this way, you can see that this is kind of like the area where you would have the intersection of the horizontal third and the vertical third. Okay, so can you picture that? Can you see that? I think it's super cool.
Does the same thing work on circles?
On circles?
Yeah, the whole thirds thing.
Like when you're painting on a circle?
Does it work the same on a circle? Yeah. If you're painting like a circle palette.
I don't know of a composition for a circle. I don't know. That's a question I don't have an answer for. I'm not going to make up answers. If I don't know the answer, I'm just going to tell you I don't know the answer. And I can look it up and we can find out more information about it. But I don't have any information about painting on circles. Sorry. All right. So here is one that I wanted to share with you because it really made me think a lot. So I painted a church series a couple of months ago. I painted 5 different churches and I showed them to my followers and I asked them, which one is your favorite one? And this is the one that won the voting for their favorite. And so we're going to paint this one in my 2 memberships, my mini den and my den. This coming, when are we doing that? On the 5th and the 6th of February, we're going to be painting this painting. And then it hit me, it's like, okay, not only are the colors really great, the whole composition of the colors or the color palette that I used, because I was like, why do they love this one the most out of all the other ones? Well, a couple of other things made me think about it. All right. Well, I used the rule of thirds. Down here is my horizon. Notice that I have a very nice vertical here off to one of the sides, okay? Off to the third vertical on the left, all right? And I have a really beautiful, if you've been painting for me, you know how much I love like that. I call it a rust color. It's kind of like burnt sienna. It's one of my favorite colors to paint with and all those old Borns and stuff like that. Navy blue and rust are probably and sap green. They are probably my favorite colors to paint with. So you can see all those beautiful colors in this painting. And so, yeah, this one has a lot of the thirds in it. And so I created this design myself and I used the whole concept of the thirds and all of the color study and all that when I decided to paint that design.
Take a breath, baby. How big is that canvas that the church is on?
That's an 18 by 24.
Awesome. And please give a shout out to Reba. That is Becky Hutchinson's mom is watching.
Hi, Miss Reba. How are you? So glad you're here. I'm just going to show you a couple more and then we'll get started painting. This is one that we painted. It was a pop-up paint party and then we also painted it in the tribe, of course. And you can see that I used the thirds as well. And you see this curvy road also kind of touches on some of the thirds, like where the turn is in the road is on one of those areas of the thirds intersection. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see there how we really do use the thirds a lot. And this one I'm only showing you because this is kind of my inspiration for today's painting. Okay, this is what we are actually going to be working on in our painting today. All right, we are going to paint a landscape. And I'm going to let you design it on your own because there's a lot of play in something like this. We're going to paint a landscape. This one hangs in my house. And I did paint this probably about a year ago. And we're going to put a really, really, really very subtle mountain scape there with a few trees that are kind of in those third areas. And then we're going to put, instead of a road, I want to make it a stream.
I love that painting.
I want to do something a little bit different, so we add a little bit more color into it. And we are going to make it a stream. So I'm going to start right now by taking a breath and answering any questions that you have, and then we're going to get started painting. Okay?
Easier if you look at the comments.
So Miss Pat says something that's really interesting. And this happened to me too, Miss Pat. I've always done this, but I didn't know that I was using the rule of thirds. Okay, well, this has happened to me in my teaching career and in my painting career. When sometimes you just have that natural ability to know those kind of things, and you can just kind of know what is expected. And I say that's happened in my teaching career as well, because I would go to workshops and they would start talking about this new way to teach. And you have to do this and you have to do this and make sure you're doing this. And it would stress me out. And I'm like, okay, well, so do I have to change everything that I'm doing to be able to, you know, teach that way? And my administrator would be like, Ginger, you're already doing it. You just don't know that that's what it's called. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so I would calm down. It's like, okay, but now I understand why I'm doing it. So some of us do naturally have that natural ability to kind of see those kind of things and designs and stuff like that. And so that's a great quality to have. So I commend you on that. All right. Somebody said, I saw you smile, Michael.
Yeah, she asked if I was sitting in the corner.
He is sitting in the corner. All right, so I am going to now move the camera down to just this camera here so that we can get started painting. Now you can see I still have all of my paints from my wet palette, and I'm just going to go over them with you again. We have our ultramarine blue. We have our Mars black, although it's kind of runny. We have our sap green or hooker's green, I think I have there. We have our cadmium red. We have our titanium white, cadmium red medium. And that's basically it. Yeah. Oh, and this is burnt umber. That's burnt umber.
Nancy posted on Facebook a rule of thirds for a circle. I know.
That's so awesome. Good. We're going to go to Facebook and look at it. Thank you for looking that up, Nancy. I love y'all. I love that y'all help me out. I think that's so awesome. Okay, so I have all my paints right here. I have my it's a little 8x8. I'm working on a square. I'm working on a square canvas. I'm going to bring my my camera down just a little bit. All right. And I'm going to use the rule of thirds in this painting without a reference photo. And I'm going to create my own design. So right now I'm just digging into the paints that I have on my palette. I'm using a flat brush. You can use any kind of brush you want, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw. I like to draw with my paintbrush. So I am going to, I think I'm going to go high up with my horizon. The first thing I want to do is I want to decide, where is my horizon going to go? So I'm going to go about a third of the way up. I'm just going to put I'm going to eyeball some, well, that's not very good. I'm going to eyeball some thirds here. All right. So let's say that's about our thirds. Right here is where my horizon's going to go. Okay. And then I'm also, this is a little tidbit that I didn't really share with y'all. I'm also going to make like a stream. I'm going to make the stream kind of go like, oh wait, I'm going to make the stream go kind of like this. I'm going to make it turn at an intersection right there. And I'm going to make the stream go something like that. And then I'm going to put a little, like way back there. I'm going to put like a little born or something like that. Oh, that's way too big. I'm going to have to calm that down. I'm going to do like a little born right there. And maybe right here. You don't have to have something. I need to explain this to y'all. You don't have to have something at every single intersection. Okay. It's just really one intersection most of the time. Okay. And then you're just following the horizon through this. So I don't want to overdo it and give y'all like all kind of, okay, let's put a house here. Let's put a tree here. Let's put something else here. No, we're not trying to do that. Okay. So that's just my layout. And the best thing for me to do is to just go ahead and start painting, and we can kind of figure out where everything's going to go. So we're just going to keep it really basic and really, we're going to keep it really subtle. Okay. I don't want to use a lot of really bright colors. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down, and I'm just going to start on like a landscape scene. And I'm going to start with some ultramarine blue and a little bit of black and white. And I'm going to make a sky.
TDD Fowler says, we can create our own landscape. I'm not a barn style person.
Yes, indeed. Create your own, my friend. Don't put a barn in it. Just create like even if it's just a flat land, you know? So you can create your own, but I'm going to give you a really good guidance to help you in creating your own. I'm going to start with a blue sky, but notice that I did give myself an area where I know that my sky is going to stop. Okay, my sky is going to stop right here. So I'm just going to keep on mixing these colors. This is a number 6 flat brush. I probably should be using a number 8. I feel like this is a little bit too small. So I'm going to grab something a little bit bigger. And this is actually an angle brush, but it still acts like a flat brush. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to give y'all a little tip for those of y'all who might see what I'm seeing right now. So my canvas is a low grade canvas. It's got a lot of play in it. Do y'all see all the play? Like, look, I'm going to show you how much it moves. Y'all see that? It's like really loose. Okay. And it's not real tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spray bottle and I'm going to spray the back of my canvas. And in just a couple of minutes, or just a couple of seconds really, you're going to see how it's going to tighten, because this is cotton. And so when you wet cotton, it kind of shrinks it. So it's going to tighten it up. And you're going to be able to see, like already you can tell the difference. What I've done is I just dampened the back of my canvas, and it made it much more taut for you to be able to work on. And it makes it a lot more pleasant to work on as well. Okay. So my sky is super dark, but that's okay. I'm going to go with it because I like it.
Does landscape have to include mountains and stream? Can we do any landscape?
You can do any landscape. No, landscape does not have to include mountains and streams. That's just a passion of mine. We love the mountains, so it happens to be, which we're going to talk about that in a couple of days, inspiration and how you decide what you want to paint. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top with that, and then I'm going to clean that off. And now...
People said, thank goodness, I love the beach.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We've done some beach ones before.
We've done some. Unfortunately, I don't do a lot of beach, but I need to start doing more beaches because a lot of our followers do like the beach. And you think I should like the beach. We're in Louisiana, so we're closer to the Gulf of Mexico than we are the mountains. But we always tend to go to the mountains instead on vacation. Okay, so I'm making kind of like a very muted green, which is a little bit of the green and some of the black and white. So I'm mixing like green and gray, really, is what I'm doing. And I'm just going to start putting that green down. This is kind of what we call blocking in our painting surface. We are just getting down that first layer of paint before we start making any details or anything. So I'm going to come in here. And then I'm just using up all of this paint here. And as I get a little bit closer, I'm going to use some of my color theory. As I get a little bit closer to the front, I'm going to take my green a little bit more towards the warm greens. And by making it more towards the warm greens, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. And I can also add a little bit of red to my greens. So you see how I'm teaching you to take all of these different skills and apply them into one painting, a little bit at a time. So every day is a little bit more that you're hopefully learning through this. And then I'm going to go back up here just a little bit, and I'm going to add just a little bit of the cooler colors. So remember, like we said yesterday with the warms and cools, if you remember, the further back you are, the cooler you're going to see in your landscape. And the closer you are, the warmer your colors are going to be. So I'm using those rules that I learned already through my painting, and I'm applying them as I'm working right now. I'm going to clean that off. And I don't know what I'm actually creating here today. I'm just going to,
Really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wing it. But I am going to dry this a little bit. So give me just a second. You might hear a little loud noise, just like 10 seconds, not long. All right. So that's my first layer of everything. You can still kind of see my lines when I broke my thirds up, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me at all. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide, okay, what kind of composition do I want to have here? So you have to decide as an individual, you have to decide like, what is it you want to have to be as the focal point of your painting? Okay, so what do you want to be the focal point? It could be a tree. It could be a house. It could be whatever you want it to be. So I am going to, I'm not going to make the mountains. I've decided against that. I'm going to make sure that like right here, I'm going to put a little barn. All right, right here in this area, I'm going to have a little barn. So that's going to be a part of my focal point. But then as I get closer, I also want a stream. I want a stream that kind of comes in this area and just kind of goes out in the distance there. So I'm going to have a stream here, and I think I'm going to, I don't know. Let's see. Let's just start with this and see what happens. So y'all can paint the same exact thing that I'm painting. Y'all can just follow along and paint exactly what I'm painting. All right. I am going to make like kind of like a tree line way back here. And I'm just going to use a darker green, almost like a black. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of I want it to be cool. So I'm adding a little bit of red. I mean, not red. I'm adding a little bit of blue to it. So I want it to be cool. I want it to be a little more on the cool side.
Do you paint the sides of your canvas? Is there a rule when you do or when you don't? It's hard to match the colors if you don't.
Yeah, I definitely, I would recommend you paint the sides when you're painting your painting, because you're exactly right. It's hard to match the colors if you don't. If you wait until later, it's very hard to match the colors. So I would definitely paint the sides. See here. Now we like to frame our canvases ourselves. So I don't always paint the sides, but if I'm working on a canvas, we'll talk about that some more at the end. When I'm working on a canvas that's really thick, that it's one of the thick canvases, I will paint the sides and not frame it. So, okay, so that's going to be the start of my landscape.
Uh-oh. Electricity just blinked.
I know, I saw that.
So hang in there, guys. If we happen to lose you, hang in there. We will come back home.
Yeah. Okay, we have a bad storm passing over. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some of these darker shades in. And this is going to bring out the different values. You'll be able to see, like I'm going to do like some, almost like some hilly areas in here. Make it all fun. And like I said, I'm just kind of making this up as we go. So now I went into a little bit of brown. I'm just going to add a little bit of that down here. And I'm going to use that brown on my little house. Maybe it's a barn. There it is. It just came to life. And then I am going to use some blue. I'm just going to mix a beautiful blue here, kind of light. And I'm going to make this stream. And way far back, the stream is going to be like really, really teeny tiny. But then as I get closer to the front of my painting, my stream is going to get bigger and bigger. And it's going to go off to the side.
Yeah, Dawn paints her sides as she goes.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. Yeah. I agree, Dawn. Definitely. And I'm going to make this stream go off the canvas and let you wonder where it goes and where it is going. All right, so let's start having some fun in here and start adding some different shades of greens and browns. So I'm going to pull some burnt umber, some yellow, and a little bit of my green. And I'm going to make a warm green here. And I'm just going to start kind of making like a little darker green and bringing in like some areas around the bank of the stream. And that's really not the greatest color, but it's a start. Now, also something that I want you to notice is I'm limiting myself to a specific color palette. I don't want to start bringing in any other colors than the colors that I have here, because if I start bringing in other colors, then I'm just going to I'm going to start making it even harder to make the color values work for me. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off, and I'm going to work on a little bit of my back area here with, let's get a tree in here. Let's put a tree somewhere. Let's put a tree. Let's actually do this. Let's make a tree come really, let's go more brown. Let's make a tree come like way, all the way right here. So the further you come down with the trunk of the tree, the closer the tree is actually going to look to you. So just going to use some brown and some green. And I'm still using this same paintbrush. And I'm going to start tapping away. And so I'm kind of doing like a Bob Ross painting here. I'm making I'm making it up as I'm going. You know how he does when he do y'all watch Bob Ross?
This is a happy little cloud right here.
You put it wherever you want. It's your painting. So you put that tree, you put one tree, you put
happy little tree.
You put 6 trees, whatever you want. It's all up to you. So I'm going to put a few trees back here as well.
Diana said, Jen's taps look so much better than my tree taps.
Just practice, my friend. And put a few little trees back here. And maybe a little bush or something right here, right on the edge.
Happy tree.
Okay, so that's the beginning. I'm definitely not finished, but that is a nice beginning, right? Now, this is definitely way too wide. The stream is way too wide, so I have to come back and kind of make more of a ground area back there. So I'm going to use some of this green, and you know what makes a really pretty green is black and yellow. I'm just going to use all of my colors there. Let's bring in a little bit of that red. Don't be afraid to mix your colors. If it doesn't come out right, just start mixing again. I'm going to make my stream really skinny back there. Almost to where you can't even see it. And the more you add all of these different values and shades, the more you'll see the depth of the painting come through. And you'll start seeing all of the different values. Let's get a little bit of red on that roof right here.
Red on the roof.
Red roof.
I was thinking I remember that, but yeah, I got you. Tin roof.
Oh, tin roof. Okay, I'm way off on that one. I knew it was something like that. Okay, I don't like the red roof, so I'm gonna make it gray. Let's go with a little bit of rustic color. I'm gonna bring in some browns and yellows. Go a little bit rusty.
So Diane says, so tonight we're supposed to paint something of our own composition?
It's totally up to you, Diane. You can either follow Diana. You can either follow the design that I am painting right now, and you can paint exactly what I am painting, if that's what makes you happy, or you can choose whatever you want to paint using, and basically the homework assignment is create a design and create a painting using the rule of thirds in your painting. Okay, so have some type of focal point in your painting that shows that you are using the rule of thirds. You can have more than one focal point. You can just use the rule of thirds by your horizon, wherever you put your horizon. But just show that something that you learned tonight is applied in your painting that you create tonight. Does that make sense? All right, I want to add a little bit of movement in this stream here. I want it to look like it's an actual stream where there's like ripples. So I'm using a little bit of white to bring in some rapids in the water. You can even put a few little rocks maybe on the edges. Or in the water. And let's bring in a few highlights in some areas.
Pauline says, what kind of fish in the stream? Cindy says, trout. Trout in the mountains. Specifically, let's see, some brown trout maybe. Yes, indeed.
I'm going to add just a little bit of warmer tone in my tree.
Got you, TD. All right.
Yes, indeed. We miss fishing, We miss fishing for trout in Montana. We lived in Montana for 3 years, and Michael was talking last night. He's like, I would go back in a minute. But you know, when you have family and kids getting married and all that kind of stuff, we came home.
Yep.
We came home, but we're going back again next month because our oldest son is still there. Just making this a little bit lighter. See how those colors are just brightening it, pulling things forward a little bit, adding that warm tone in there. And let's give it a little bit of shade down here. Yeah, we're going back for like 2 or 3 weeks in March, April, because he is graduating and we are going to his horse shows that he has. He is a cowboy and he is getting his degree in horsemanship, which is training horses. So we're super excited to go watch him in his competitions at the end of the year. So we shall be painting on the road this
Come on,
March and
baby. You don't
April.
have to ride in the suitcase.
Yeah, he graduates in May, but all of his like his final horsemanship shows and competitions and all that, they all happen in March and April. So we're going then. All right. So what do y'all think? We could add a little more movement in the sky. Could add a few little clouds. That's too green. This is a really dark painting, isn't it? Almost looks like almost a nighttime painting.
The sun is setting, right?
Yeah.
Or you could put a moon in the sky.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let's see. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. I gotta take that off. Okay, so I don't like the placement of my moon, so I'm gonna change it because I feel like it's too, I don't know, it's just not a good spot. That is not what I meant to do, so don't do what I just did.
But now you get to show them how to fix.
Yes. So I'm gonna take my rag. I did not mean to put that black on my, I'm gonna take my rag and I'm gonna wet it and kind of wipe off some of that boo-boo that I just did. It's not really working, but I'm just going to take my rag again and just try again. I'm taking off some of it. It's just getting a little bit better. But then I need to kind of fix it.
I love when you make mistakes so you can show how to fix them.
I seem to do that pretty often, don't I? I keep on dipping in the black for some reason. Oh, I know why. My blue, now I understand. The little bit of blue that I have left on my paint palette, underneath it is black. So every time I dip into the blue, I'm actually dipping into blue and black. So let me get my blue, my ultramarine blue. Let me put some fresh blue in there. Let me come up here. There we go. All right. Watch and learn, my friends. Watch and learn. All right. Much better. Some clean blue up there.
It is a dark, stormy sky.
Mm-hmm. I did go very dark on this one.
Nothing wrong with that. I love it. You know how I am.
Mm-hmm. You can make it brighter. I think I let my black roll in on my paint palette. I let my black roll into almost everything, even my greens. And that black kind of just made everything a lot darker than what I expected it to be.
You want to explain how you're fixing it?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of I just basically let the paint dry a little bit. And I'm using a lighter, I'm going back to my blue and white, and I'm just recovering the area that I messed up. And I'm just gonna, now that it's a little bit of a different blue than what I had initially, so I'm just gonna kind of bring in that blue.
Are you using something to dry?
No, it dried on its own.
But you just did it real thin.
Yeah.
Talk to them back here.
Yeah. So
well, you made it brighter already.
Yeah, if you could let it dry a little bit like I just did. All right, I'm gonna put a moon over here.
It does look cloudy. Huh. Love it.
Yeah, I like that better. So I'm kind of continuing in the vertical thirds. And so I wanted the moon to kind of be in that same vertical that I allowed to go like almost all the way up to the top. And that's why I decided that the moon would go better there than over here. Because if I had a high vertical on this side and I also had a high vertical on this side, then my eyes would compete with one another. And they would be like, okay, well, do I look at this vertical or do I look at this vertical? Does that make sense? So I want my moon to be in the same vertical area as the tree. You don't want to have two areas that go all the way to the top. Then your eyes are competing on, well, which one do I want to look at? Do I want to look at this one or do I want to look at this one? So that's a perfect example of what works and what doesn't work. And I'm trying to add just a teeny bit of yellow to my moon instead of just being a solid white. I'm going to see if maybe I can just bring in, that's a little bit too bright. I'm just trying to make it like a really, really pale yellow. I would have to let it dry a little bit more, but I actually like it. And this is still wet right here, but I'm gonna use that yellow on my little house. And I'm gonna bring in a little bit of moonshine, not real moonshine, but the moon shining on the building shine. Does that make sense? Like the front of the building has a little bit of a glow from the moon.
I love that.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
And there's a door. And I'm going to bring in a little bit more of that. Because, see, that moon is like way far away. So it's not really creating that much of a huge shine on everything.
That's a good question.
What's that?
If you wanted the sky to look like it's going to snow, what colors would you use?
More of like a grayish, because if you're getting ready to have snow happening, you're going to have a very cloudy type of atmosphere. So I would definitely lean towards a little bit more towards a grayish blue. So I would mix like blue and white and black together. Or you could use like a Payne's gray. Payne's gray is a beautiful navy blue that I'm just bringing in a little more warm colors just to make it have a little more, hey, yay. I don't know what this is right here. This is really kind of bothering me. So I'm going to play with it a little bit more. I want there to be a little bit more definition. Now you see that's too bright. It does not go with the whole scheme of
Look outside
the painting. Oh, there's some clouds flying by right now. We've got a big storm coming, I guess. Maybe a little bit darker in some areas. So I'm just trying to make this area not look like a big blob. I feel like I did a really good job of making a big blob right there. And it did not look like anything. So I'm just trying to make it look like a, maybe like a big bush. So I'm giving it some different depth. I'm giving it a darker base. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of a green that's a little bit lighter on top in some areas. Then I'm going to go a little bit lighter as well. Maybe just a few little areas where the moon is hitting. It's a little bit lighter. Okay. What do you think?
Mountain stream.
A mountain stream. Well, I didn't even put the mountains in.
Yeah, it's not a mountain stream. So it's just a.
It's just a stream.
Yeah.
It's just a
stream on a hilly.
A stream on a hillside, maybe.
Hillside.
Yeah. Now I want to add some trees back here too. So someone the other day was painting a painting, and they had trouble between the horizon and the tree line. And so basically what was happening was everything was getting washed away, and they couldn't even see the tree line. So if that happens, make sure that tree line gets a little bit of a darker line, because that tree line is always like a darker area there. So I think I'm going to call this one done. What do y'all think? I think it's a lot of fun. I love like very muted colors like this. Most of my house actually has these kind of colors in it.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, I think it's a quick painting. It's not perfect at all, but it's definitely something that will hopefully inspire you to try, even though there was no template, right? So Michael is coming in to give us some last minute words of advice.
Oh, advice.
Words of encouragement. Is that better?
Yeah.
Words of encouragement. Let me put the right screen up. There we go.
So as always, wow, you showed up. 3 days. You got 7 more to enjoy, and we hope that you're enjoying this. And if you have any questions, Jim, where can they go to ask them? On Facebook, or can they go to support?
No, did somebody ask that?
No, I'm asking it. Just
in the hub, in the Acrylic 101 hub, you have a spot that says ask questions here. And when you click it, it brings up a form, and you can fill out the form. Okay. Or you can just email support@jensdenart.com, and we'll be happy to get back with you that way as well.
Right on. And last but not least, definitely not least, there were a couple of prayer requests, and we're going to pray now. And for those of you who are listening, this prayer is for you as well, and for your family. So let's go to God and pray. Oh, Father God, we thank you so much for this evening. We thank you for your strength, your power, your grace, your mercy, and how you freely give it to us all, God. Lord, we ask that you would guide us continually through this evening with our families and friends, and even in the quietness of our own place. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, I encourage you, remember what I said, encourage you to stay active in that Facebook group, share your work, watch the videos over and over. You have all month to watch the videos. Stay with us. We have more to offer. It's going to be a blast. Thank you so much for showing up live and being here with us. We really, really appreciate that.
We love it.
And we will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is shadows. We're going to really break down some specifics about shadows. So I cannot wait to talk to y'all about it. Bye. Y'all have a great night.